Welcome to the Defense and Aerospace Report. I'm Vago Muradian here in Southampton, New York, where just a couple of minutes ago, the Red Arrows, the Royal Air Force's flying demonstration team, flew overhead at this event that is sponsored by the UK Department of International Trade. And it's our honor to be talking to Royal Air Force Group Captain Tony Franklin, who is the commandant of the Central Flying School at RAF Cranwell, a very, very distinguished aviator with Hawk time, Jaguar time, and as we were talking, Tornado time. So two of those three types, unfortunately, Tony, are in museums now.
That's right. That's a shame. It really is, as we were saying. It just dates you when aircraft tails that you've actually flown are in a museum that you show your kids. But it's been a great career so far. I've enjoyed every minute of it, and I'm enjoying being on this tour too.
It's extraordinary because you're the officer who oversees the Red Arrows, one of the world's true great flying demonstration teams. We were at RAF Fairford. We have an opportunity to talk to the officer commanding of the RAF of the Red Arrows, Andrew Keith, and 11 weeks in North America. You guys started off in Canada. You guys, I think, as we tape this here in Southampton, the Reds are up at Stewart Air National Guard Base at the New York Air Show. Talk to us about how this is going. Just an extraordinary demonstration over New York. You guys are going to be in DC. How's this tour going so far?
Well, it's been a fantastic start to the tour. We really couldn't have asked for more. As you said, it was a long time in the planning. 11 weeks, 25 cities, over 20 air shows, more than 100 engagements on the ground. We arrived at Halifax in Nova Scotia. Great weather, really good form on the aircraft. We settled in really well. Fantastic reception from the team in Halifax. We then moved on to Ottawa, where we did a fly past of Parliament Hill. We then had effectively a bespoke air show for us because we couldn't make our diaries match up with all of the air shows around the country. So on the Wednesday afternoon, I think it was a Wednesday afternoon, so it's already merging, we had a display at Gatineau Airfield there, and that was great. Again, really well received. We managed to combine a bit of the air show work that we are well known for with some of the engagement, particularly, as you said, with the Department of Trade, with the FCO, for all things British, in Ottawa and Gatineau, and they haven't seen us for a long time, so that was good to do. From there, we hopped across to our first venue in the States, the Chicago Air and Water Show, operating out of Gary. Again, an amazing welcome from everybody involved in Chicago. I've never been to Chicago before. It was a great city, really good welcome. The weather was a bit of a challenge on that day, so on the Saturday we had to roll between our shows. For the UK weather, we planned three types of show. There's a full show for good weather. As the cloud base comes down, we go into a rolling show. And then when the weather's really bad, there's a flat show if we can still meet the criteria. On the first three manoeuvres of our show on the Saturday, the leader, Martin Pert, took the team through all three of those shows. There was a bit of a clearance. He managed to fly most of it as a full show, and I think the reactions we got from the spectators and in Chicago was just absolutely fantastic. It was really good.
And I'm a New Yorker originally, although I'm now a thorough Washingtonian. How was the show over New York? Because it was great seeing the cover of so many newspapers, seeing you guys flying over New York.
Well, that was a once-in-a-lifetime experience for the guys involved. What a fantastic opportunity. A lot of work involved in coordinating that, as you can imagine, going down the Hudson River. All the international airfields around there were very accommodating for us. The weather was fantastic that day. Everything was perfect. So we were in a formation trail with the Thunderbirds out the front. We had the demo teams of the F-22s and the F-35s behind us. And as you said, so we went over West Point, we went down along the Hudson, turned around in the bay and came back up with our traditional red, white and blue smoke for New York to see. And again, the reactions from New Yorkers, from the Department of Trade, from the Consul General, from everybody that's been involved has just been absolutely fantastic. So we couldn't have asked for a better start to our tour.
And talk to us a little bit about engagements like this, right? It's a small one, a lot of British products here. Talk to us about why engagements like this also are very, very important and why they're on your schedule. You know, talk to us about the macro, all the way from the macro picture and telling the story of the RAF and engaging a new generation. Kids are very, very important to you everywhere in the world you guys go, all the way down to the product side. Walk us through the whole portfolio of things you guys are trying to achieve, because you guys really don't have a single spare minute free.
Okay, so this isn't just about air shows for us. It's really about supporting UK government and the GREAT campaign. So the Department of Trade, for events such as today, we've got over 100 ground events planned, and that ranges from business brunches, leadership lectures, STEM engagement. One of the RAF 100 celebrations aims last year was to inspire the next generation. And through STEM activity, we really try to take that forward, particularly with that next generation, whether it be as engineers, as pilots or businessmen, whatever they want to go on to do. If we can spark something for them, that's a real key aim for us. But again, at that top level, it really is supporting the other government department, trade in the lead, FCO supporting them, and we are just an enabler for them to conduct their business in the States.
And obviously the extraordinary alliance between the United States and the United Kingdom. In fact, you were attracted to the RAF to fly a great American airplane that was made better by a great British engine, weren't you?
That's very true, yes. As a boy, I always looked at the F4s that were flying around, and I think that was something that inspired me to join the Air Force and start my career. It's great that we've managed to keep these traditions and these links together. Taking it all the way forward to the F-35 now, we have engagement across the tour planned with the F-35. As we mentioned earlier, we had the pleasure of flying in close formation with them in the Hudson. When we go across to Fort Worth, one of their production lines, we'll again be flying in formation with them there, a chance to show how those bonds keep growing.
And but unfortunately, and I have to say, I always thought that the F4s with the Spey engines had a better aft fuselage. It was a gorgeous-looking jet originally in the Royal Navy, but ended up in the RAF. But you didn't get to fulfill your dream, did you? You missed it by that much.
That's true. Yeah, I'd just come out of officer training when our program changed. So it was Plan B. But I've had a great career, as I said earlier. I've had the pleasure to fly some fantastic aircraft. Many of them collaborations. I'm looking forward to an opportunity to get involved with the F-35 at some point, and as I say, keep these UK-US special relationship in defence going.
And of course, you have one of the more important jobs in the RAF, training that new generation of pilots. Talk to us a little bit about the selection criteria. Everybody knows, a lot of our audience knows, whether it's for the Thunderbirds or for the Blue Angels, what the selection criteria is, but you guys are no less demanding in terms of the skill sets you're looking for folks to be in the Red Arrows. Talk to us about those baseline standards that you guys apply to screen from all the folks who want to have this once-in-a-lifetime incredible experience.
Okay, so all of our pilots are combat veterans from the Royal Air Force's fast jet fleet. They won't all have flown the same aircraft. There's quite a mix at the moment, whether it's Typhoon, some guys are a Harrier, some guys are Tornado too. But the majority are Typhoon at the moment. What they would needed to have achieved is 1,500 hours of experience in a fast jet cockpit to already have been assessed as above average by their chain of command and their unit, and then to want to apply to join the Red Arrows. At that point, we will look back through their reports and their history, even as far back as training, to see what they're like and how they've been assessed as a pilot. We'll then weed that initial application down to around about 9 guys who will take away for a week of solid interviewing. They'll go in front of the media to see how they can handle media events, and a flying test, which is obviously very important. In that week, they spend a lot of time with the guys that will be with their team, because they'll be on the team for 3 years, 9 guys at any one time on the team. So they're a close unit. They're on top of each other the whole time, so they need to be able to get on with each other as well. And ultimately, it's the team that have a vote as to how they think the character would work with that team. It might be that they're not successful that year. Most of the guys apply 2 or 3 times before they find that sweet spot and get themselves into the team. So from around about 30 that apply each year, we end up with 3 guys, new guys on the team, and they'll stay there for the next 3 years.
Group Captain Tony Franklin, the Commandant of the Central Flying School at RAF Cranwell, who oversees the Red Arrows, the Royal Air Force's aerobatic team, or I should say flying display team. Sir, it's an honor and pleasure talking to you. Best of luck on this tour. It's an incredible team, and hopefully we guys will have an opportunity to see you guys again before you head back to the UK.
Look forward to it. Thank you very much.